Hello, we're CultureClash Theatre.
I'm Cassie.
And I'm Sherin. And welcome to Voices in the Dark, Take 2.
Thank you if you joined us last night.
But if you didn't, don't worry. All 6 pieces will be showcased on Greenwich Theatre's YouTube channel for up to a week.
Tonight we'll be showcasing the final 3 out of 6 pieces selected by a panel from almost 100 submissions.
We hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Toby Cohen. This is my play R, directed by James Hadrell and performed by Nigel Betts. It was written in the first weeks of the lockdown and belongs very much to that time, those sunny, very scary weeks. It seemed at that moment and since then that there's been an increased awareness of our responsibilities to the people around us. It was also interesting noticing the range of things you can't do or very hard to do when suddenly there's no physical interaction between people. And the other way around too, it's interesting what things can carry on just as they were, which ways we got used to not being in contact with other human beings. 500,000 older people in the UK go most of the week without seeing or speaking to anyone. So this is a story about someone who'd already lost touch with people and his struggles to reconnect with the person outside of himself. Thank you very much for watching.
Every day the realizations hit me. Sometimes I can feel the rush of them. I can keep zooming into what's actually real. Katie's left me. Quit smoking a month ago. Wasn't best timing. I keep going back to the park. Everyone's out enjoying the bright day. I'd put money on the table. If you got a fella a month ago and dropped him right on that bench, he wouldn't know anything was wrong. Just seemed normal. Happy. But I'm watching it now. All I can see is how everyone's keeping apart. Bending the paths, looking all edgy in the sunshine. And these blooming masks. They're really cheery, aren't they? Well, maybe I would have noticed how everyone's keeping apart. A month ago, I was doing social isolation without even knowing it. Lived by myself. Good life behind me, but no one close now, no family. Been a while since I had a lover of any sort. A while since I've been touched at all, to be honest. Even by accident. Welcome to 70, my friend. So, I do notice all the ways people are with each other, how they touch, how they don't even notice. In other words, I'm a lonely bugger. Sat there with a freezer full of food, waiting for the apocalypse. Not that you're ever really alone these days. Got the online community, got more TV than you know what to do with. Got daily astrological readings if you like, which I do. And you got dating apps. There's loads of us lonely buggers. They call things like open skies or one more waltz. Gotta love it. You should see some of the people on there. They're so scared. Just talking about the virus, it did me head in. Anyway, that was how I met Katie. She immediately appeared to be my type in that she liked me and she lived close. First question she asked me was, how could you trust a guy who was trying to hook up in a quarantine? What do you do with that? I said I wasn't trying to hook up, I was just looking for company. Till I saw her. I got a smiley face. She said she'd meet me in Lindsay Park for a quickie. Next day her line was, well, where were you? I was waiting. She'd just go for it like that. There was always part of me wondering if she was serious. We chatted about all sorts. She liked surfing. She liked rambling, foraging. I told her about my time out east. told her about some of the people I'd met. She was so curious. She was alone too. She had 2 kids, but they sounded like absolute heroes. One was off working as a nurse in Lebanon, the other was climbing something stupid in Australia. So neither of them could be with her. He talked about them a lot, of course. Our Claire, our Alex. Made me have that conversation with myself again. Why I never had kids. Every time I looked at my phone, it would tell me how many people had got it, how many people had died, and if I had any messages from her. They were sending them at quite a rate. It didn't hurt that I was well acquainted with the zodiac. She was a Libra and Jupiter was in the ascendant. It was time to talk face to face, see if she was real, you know. A video call was arranged. Not an easy business. I had to look in the mirror. The eyebrows are proper old geezer eyebrows. Bushy, impressive, not sexy. So I had to go at them with some nail scissors. Respect to them, they put up a fight. Got them looking pretty good individually, but somehow very different from each other. But better than old geezer eyebrows. I got the tablet ready. First went into the kitchen with a window behind me, open skies. I looked like the Dark Beast, one of those anonymous informants on Panorama. Bedroom seemed a bit much. The lounge had seen better days, but there was a corner with a record player and an old potted plant that wouldn't die. Found I could sort of wedge myself in at a becoming angle if I balanced on the bin. I'm sounding like a 15-year-old. You're not far off. I wasn't like this with the others I talked to, I can tell you that. She were very real. Katie. Had this big bunch of red hair, all tied up like a girl. She was a Scouser. She would go at me with energy sometimes. Then back off and be a bit more unsure. Then explode again. It was work, but brilliant. Took me a bit of time to get warmed up. Couldn't help looking at myself on the video, see how my eyebrows were doing. They did look extremely different. She asked why I was looking shifty, so I ended up making my picture the full screen so I could keep an eye on them without breaking the romantic connection. So there I was, just staring at my own mug, looking all romantic with stupid eyebrows. Fortunately, it wasn't a standardly sensible conversation. Her cat kept walking in front of the camera. She does this thing where she gets words for things wrong. Half the time by mistake, and half the time to sort of cover her traces or test me. If she's like this now, what the hell was she like when she was 20? Quite shy, she said. Seemed to go well. Never thought of myself as much of a talker. But it turns out I've got all sorts of bollocks to chat about. Like it had all been bottled up. We chatted a few times like that. I could tell she needed love in her life. That's just who she was. I don't know if you get better at knowing what works for you when you get older, or just more relaxed about the bullshit. But I really liked her. I wasn't sleeping great, change of season maybe, or those clips of Italians lying in hospital corridors being strangled from the inside out. But when I was thinking of her, I swear, it was all I was thinking about. thinking about her whole body. We had to meet. I asked her if she'd like to, at a distance of course. Hell yeah, she said. I'm on the vulnerable list. Katie is also on the vulnerable list, so immediately it was a bit sexy, a bit dangerous, you know. It was a beautiful day. Cherry blossom was shameless, absolutely bursting. 14,000 Britons had the virus, 759 had died. We met on the bench that she originally suggested, stood at opposite ends, had a look at each other. Took her about 5 minutes to mention them. She didn't say anything, she just gave her own eyebrows a little wriggle. You always have them like that, she said. No, just for you, I said. She was shorter than I pictured, just like a nice little squirrel. We were definitely strangers, but she said it was right that we'd feel like that. We were strangers, in the real ways. So, off we went for a walk. All the time, keeping at least 6 feet apart. She could tell I smoked, though. Apparently she quit 10 years ago. With the heroin. She just loved teasing me. And it meant we could do whatever, say whatever. I tried a few cute lines myself. Forgot I used to do that. It was good. We'd walk along either side of the path. Mummers, cyclists, the whole world went between us. And if they were talking, it wasn't about a variety of subjects. Oh no, it was like one blooming conversation. But we didn't really tune into it much. It was just something that we were both different to. Behind her, you know, teasing and that, she was very gentle. She shared everything. It had been a long time since I'd been around such gentleness. We did another walk 2 days later. Still 6 feet apart. If I got within a breath of getting closer, she'd say 6 feet apart or 6 feet under. She was very serious about things like that. Sometimes it got complicated. You'd be walking along, people coming at you from different angles, this way and that. You'd end up miles apart laughing. It was great to see what the distancy things people did. Flying kites, free kicks, a couple of old lads hitting golf balls. One woman was dancing on her own in a field. We did see some lads boxing. Probably housemates. I said, they better be, she said. Katie knew a lot about science. She explained to me what the R was. If flu has an R of 1.4, that means if one person has it, they pass it on to 1.4 people on average. After 10 passings, that means 14 people have it. This virus had an R of 3. Do you know how many people have it after 10 passings? 59,000. That sent goose pimples right down my spine. 19,000 Britons had the virus now. 1,020 were dead. How many would that be in 10 sneezes time? So I was surprised at the end of the walk when she asked me if I'd go leafleting with her. She showed me one. Hi, I'm Katie at number 14. If you'd like a hand shopping or just a chat, here's my number. So give us a hell yeah. She said we could do opposite sides of the street. Now, it was government advice that I shouldn't even go out, let alone take extra risks. That's not going to help anybody. She shouldn't be going out either. Apparently she'd been doing it from day one. I feel like it's my responsibility, she said. Personally, I wasn't joking about it being dangerous. It's dangerous everywhere. But now I was holding my breath every time I passed without even noticing it. It was automatic. There was a fear brain that was always on. But being with Katie was what blocked it out. She was life. I wanted life. I wasn't going to be one of those Italians in a corridor. Responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure we don't get sick, I said. Especially smokers. Government said it. Stay in. Yeah, but that's only one bit of advice, she said. Not to think for ourselves. I'm careful. I can help. She looked at me with her twinkly eyes. Don't worry about it though, she just thought I'd mention it. But maybe kick them fags, eh? It was one of those moments when I wish I could have been close to her, giving her a squeeze. Instead I just nodded. Such a blooming Sagittarius, she smiled. I had a dream. She was there, and we were kissing. And kissing. It was a very straightforward dream. I could feel her whole body in my arms. I never realised how alone I was before. British summertime had begun, and it was another gorgeous day. 27,000 people had the virus and nearly 3,000 had died. The blossom on the trees was already on the turn, but there was other stuff to enjoy. Katie had a nose for nature. She showed me bittercress walls. We filled the bag with wild garlic. She collected cow parsley and taught me how to know if it was hemlock. We were going through these bushes, light scattered all about us. The leaves were lovely. She was humming Ring a Ring a Roses. Suddenly realised we were close, like a foot away. She put her hand to her mouth, pinched her nose. I did the same. She didn't back off. It was the closest we'd ever been. I took a step forward, holding my breath, looking in her eyes. I was next to her. I could feel her through the air. I wasn't thinking. I let go of my mouth and took her hands. And I kissed her. She pushed me away, shook her head. She was upset. You shouldn't have done that. She said, that was irresponsible. I've been isolated, I said. I don't mind if I get it from you. That only made it worse. How do you think I feel? She said, if I gave it to you. Do you think about me at all? And she left. Spent 2 days just sitting at home. Couldn't look at my freezer. My last attempt to stop smoking had crashed and burned. But then she sent a message saying that she hoped I was okay and did I want to meet up for a talk. I said that would be nice and said I was sorry. Thursday we were going to meet, but then she had to postpone because she had a bit of a cough. Saturday she was feeling better, but then her temperature went off the chart. Suddenly she was in hospital. She told me to stay away. She phoned me to say it. She could barely get it out before she started coughing and coughing. It's a scary virus. People go through hell before they get better. Even footballers, young people. She's going to beat this. Obviously, I thought about going to the hospital all the time, but I couldn't. Got a message from the nurse asking if I wanted to have a video link with Katie. She looked terrible. Pillow was soaking. She tried to talk, but it was too hard. They put the oxygen back on and she looked at me. I said goodbye. Said I'd see you soon. She just wriggled her eyebrows. You know, you can tell if it's your last. You don't even get to the end. Hello, my name is George. I live at flat 4, 48 Bakers Hill. If you're unable to get out for any reason and would like help with your shopping or just appreciate somebody to talk to, my number's below. So, give us a hell yeah.
Hi, my name is Sid Sagar and this is my short play. It's called Baked Beans, and it's the early manifestation of an idea for a longer form monologue for a male identifying actor from a South Asian background. It aims to capture the fun, fury and beauty of minority existence in a complex world. It's benefited from development through Marcus Bernard, whose theatre company The Upsetters produced a scratch event in which this play was featured at the Bunker Theatre in February 2020. That version was directed by Kwame Odum and performed by Manu of Tiara. It's currently being developed with the support of Rifco Theatre Company through their associate scheme. I'm very grateful to CultureClash and the Greenwich Theatre for managing to find a platform for these plays to get on in amongst so much uncertainty. This version is performed by Hamza Jitawa and directed by Lata Nobes. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoy it.
I was pathetic tonight in the pub with the lads. We were sat drinking, telling jokes, playing music, telling more jokes, jokes about sex, thick Irishmen, wog jokes, chink jokes, packy jokes. And the biggest joke was me, because I was laughing the hardest. And they laughed at me because I was laughing. It seemed as if the whole pub was laughing at me. One giant grinning mouth. I just sat there and watched them. And I didn't belong. I was crying so hard I couldn't catch my breath. So I ran and kept on running. And when I got home, my dad was there praying. I watched him, Tarek. And it felt right to be here, to be a part of this place, to belong to something. It's what I want. I know my dad will always be a problem, but I can handle that now. Perhaps I might make him change. But I don't want that out there. It's not who I am. It's as alien to me as...
I'll stop you there.
Oh,
Nothing was wrong, don't worry.
okay.
It's just a note from the director, basically. He's sort of keen, basically, to find something raw, to tap into something a bit more sort of frenzied, you know? Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Should I go again?
Yes, please.
Is it?
Yeah, fine. This camera, fuck's sake. Oh, God, sorry.
Well, don't worry, you're fine. They're a pain.
God, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, honestly, the amount of times I've had to do self-tape, and then my mate comes around, and we
Right,
have to.
okay.
So raw, right? Frenzied.
Yeah, it's, east is east, but not up north in a grey town somewhere off the M1. This is real, today. It's all those themes, but today. The mixed marriage, the anger, the abuse. Like a friend of mine, she's black, or, well, mixed, but it doesn't matter, I suppose. But she just split up with this guy, and, well, it was his religion, really. And his family. His religion and his family. And it was awful, like, really horrid, awful relationship because of how toxic that stuff makes it. When you're ready.
It's fucking incredible, trust me. It's like normal climbing, right? But there's a bar, like, right there. So you climb, you grab a drink, and they've got good stuff too, like Camden Pale Ale and neck coil and like proper gin, and you get more and more pissed. It's fucking incredible. Like climbing, but on steroids. Or booze. Alex is a good guy at heart. It's sick, honestly, so sick. Well-intentioned. Probably best not to go the night before a meeting with a partner though. He's an onion man, layers and stuff. Peel back the bravado and keep peeling and you'll end up with... Oh man, did I tell you about the grad I was managing? Absolute fucking travesty, like genuinely, no word of a lie. Couldn't work Excel, or even Google Sheets, not even the GCSE shit. It was like watching a blind toddler drive a tractor. Car crash. Wait for it. It's the recruitment policy, I'm all for progress and access, obviously. It's the future, isn't it? Fuck Churchill and so on. Very nice. But there comes a point where people don't have the basic skills and the whole working day slows down because I'm trying to explain to this lad from like Lambeth or Brixton or fucking Penge, how to work a bloody laptop. Big grin, head shake, top up. Why does it matter where he's from? Maybe an odd thing to say when I've been as silent as a shitty lamb for coming up to 15 minutes. Katie takes over, which makes sense. I'm only here because of her uni mate. She got 2-1 in politics and Spanish. Cooks a lot of Indian food. Better than I can, which is a real shame. And Exhibit A, not naming names of course, darling Alex, is an able-bodied, white, middle-class, male-identifying dinosaur, everyone. Bigger grin, toothy, the result of 2.5 decades worth of Earl Grey and red meat and brushing his teeth once a day. Head shake, top up. Should let it go. Talk about vegan brownies or Hinge. But, fuck it. It's only because, well, we're in Clapham right now, which is Lambeth, right? So, I don't really get what the relevance is. But Katie did invite me when she really didn't need to, which was generous. And she works for a charity dedicated to the recovery of people in developing countries with tuberculosis. She's well-intentioned. So, I improvise. It's nice around here though. Really nice. Oh my god, I love it. And my office is literally like 10 minutes on the cycled superhighway. Well, 20 minutes for you. Alex is back. I smile and sip, even though responsible cycling should be actively encouraged. And the superhighway is actually a lot safer than I thought. When I was in Amsterdam for a conference last week, I think I told you the one about the recovery of adults with tuberculosis in Asia and the Far East. Yeah, well, the hotel had these bikes, so I used one to get to the conference, and oh my god, never again. I nearly got hit by a tram like 7 times. Tram sandwich. Alex is still here. Smile and nod. Katie tells me you're an actor. Fuck's sake, he's taken an interest. You in anything at the moment? Taken an interest or dirty rotten power play? Well, it's been a little quiet at the moment, so there's a couple of things I'm auditioning for. There's a play I've been in for a couple of times, and Katie got us tickets to see Hamilton for our anniversary. It was the sickest thing I've ever seen, apart from Book of Mormon, actually. Yeah, it's amazing. It felt a bit radical. Yeah, exactly. I thought, flipping that story, and those songs. Oh my god, those songs. Do you sing? Oh, yeah, I can. My range is a bit... We just loved how they flipped that story. Must be empowering. Yeah. Yeah, it must be. More of where that came from, please. I think it was America. Did you see Series 2 of Fleabag? Oh my god, Andrew Scott. Did you see the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special? Oh my god, James Corden. Did you see Little Women?
Loved it, yeah. God, that Beth bit is heartbreaking. Now that's the kind of film you'd be very good in. Really? Of course. What? Little Women? Yes, that's what it's called, darling, but what about the men, no? Ah, that handsome one. What's his name? Happy Valley Hunk, James Norton. Ah, James Norton. Such a lovely smile. You could be a James Norton. How was your day anyway, Mum? Oh, fine, darling, fine. Same as always. No space in the car park, some IT hardware date, a software update. And then I visited a client who begged me for a new care package on top of the existing package, which Mrs. Wilkes wouldn't even qualify for if I hadn't pulled strings. Tears in her eyes. My father needs this, my father needs that, no money, no money. And she says this to me in the second reception room of a recently refurbished house with an electric gate in Gerrard's Cross. She'll file a complaint, I'm sure. This country butcher, God knows. You've eaten enough? Loads, thank you, times a million. You sure, darling? Honestly, any more and I'll turn into a lentil. Don't you ever worry, okay? I know. You're worried. Mum, I'm always here, better. I know. There are things I know. Things I understand. Including, but not limited to, Hitler's consolidation of power in the 1930s. Good flossing techniques. For oral hygiene, not for dancing. Up-to-date knowledge of when the barriers open at Euston. I know other things too. That I have been mothered by a human of limitless strength and care and resilience. That I have been seen in ways I will never be seen. That I find it hard to switch off. That, according to Monzo, I made 87 transactions in Pret in the last financial year. That I'm insecure about sex. That white people love baked beans. That I am angry. That the reason for my anger is sadness. That the reason for my sadness is experience. That the experience of existing in a certain place with certain people can, over time, open wounds and salt those wounds and close them only temporarily, and on the condition that you smile widely and thank them for the opportunity, and that you hope to hear from them soon. These are some of the things I know. These are some of the things I think. As I blink on the Northern Line at just after 9:30 a.m, off-peak of course, Kennington via Charing Cross, the people on this branch wear white sneakers and corduroys. Not like the suits and trousers to Morden via Bank. Maybe it's because they have artistic jobs. There is an informality in that industry. An invitation to free yourself up and just be. Apparently. I take in the train, the glimpses of humanity in the city that we try to call home. The worries and the struggles and the quirks. Divided and united.
Oh my god, the fucking engineering works.
No, it's such a mare.
What are they even engineering anymore?
If I had a penny,
What?
I mean, I don't know, the tracks probably.
Anyway, thanks for coming in again. I know it seems like a long process, but it'll be sorted very soon. We only have like 4 more people to see, and then bam!
Great, thanks.
Danny loved the read you did, by the way. He's just back from the States, so he's slightly jet-lagged, so bear with.
No worries. Bearing.
Hello, fella, I'm Danny. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, yeah. How are you?
Very jet-lagged, if I'm honest, mate. Fucking shattered. I just got back from the States.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Shattered, mate.
What were you...
Big international thing. Co-pro between Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Hulu, BBC America, and Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera?
Tom Hanks is show running.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. He's a laugh. Funny guy, really sound. Loved your tape, by the way. You took the notes and ran with them. Well done.
Thank you.
So we'll go again, but at least this time I'm in the room with you. Similar vibes, yeah? It's East is East, but for now, for today. We think things move on, but a lot of things stay the same. You know, my mate was telling me only the other day how he had to delete his family's numbers from his phone. They were hounding him. You've gone with a white girl, you've dishonoured our name, you've dishonoured the family, shame on you. Why can't you accept this girl we found for you back home? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sort of.
Take the arranged marriage, bring us happiness, bring us grandchildren, bring us mainly male grandchildren, and all the rest of it. He left the WhatsApp group and everything.
I'll read in with you.
Okay, thanks.
Ready when you are.
Knots is a short play that sees 3 people forever intertwined by one rainy Wednesday afternoon, and explores the lasting damage unspoken things can have if allowed to take root and grow. Just 3 characters telling us their stories. Oh, looks like rain.
I just want to start by saying
It's difficult.
that I'm going to try.
Talk about.
I don't know if this will help,
I suppose
but I'll try.
it's best to start at the beginning.
I hope this all makes sense.
If we can call this the beginning.
I hope I haven't left out anything
And the rain
important.
seems like the best place.
It was one of those out of nowhere type of things.
This sudden
No warning.
downpour.
It's best to begin,
And considering
I think.
the circumstances,
It's best to begin with the rain.
Of course, it sticks in my mind for other reasons, but you really would remember this kind of
Rain wasn't forecast.
weather anomaly.
It was the middle of summer and a very high area of pressure or something, so it was
I heard it start on the conservatory roof.
unexpected.
Caught out in it.
This hushed roar.
And sod's law, I had no brolly.
Like white noise.
If I hadn't have taken so long in the shop, I might have been home by now.
I called my brother in from the garden.
I ran as fast as my feet could carry me, because I've got the food shop and also Dad's birthday cake hidden underneath a multi-pack of Walkers, ready sorted.
He's feral, my brother.
I only nipped out to get essentials.
And he's already soaked.
Because Dad's not left the house for days.
He loves the mud and the rain and wind and running about in it like a maniac. It's always me who has to clear up after him.
I was on the M65 towards Burnley.
Messy bugger.
The rain was so heavy.
Which one makes you wetter, walking or running in rain?
I had to pull over.
Because I think it might actually be running, but I can't remember where I heard that.
That kind of rain where the wipers can't keep up?
Probably QI or something.
So heavy you can't see.
I made it home, chucked the shopping in the porch, then stopped. Just to watch. To listen.
The sky had gone dark. Me and my brother see this black mass pass above us. Waves of pitch folding into each other.
As I pull over, I can see other cars have done the same.
I stood in the porch, feeling this fine mist on my face.
All these cars, middle of the road.
Water that's kicked back off the ground and up into the air.
Dozens of them.
I hold out my hand, trying to catch some of it in my path.
And my brother still wanted to go out and play in it.
The water felt warm.
I said, wait for it to pass.
Tropical.
I said, the garden will be sodden and you'll get covered in mud. And I'm the one who has to clear it all up or Mum will go mad, so wait.
Then it started to ease off.
I saw a piece of blue sky break out of the grey.
I said, wait for it to stop. Put your wellies on.
Fingers of sunlight.
He puts his wellies on, waiting at the door, waiting for it to stop. Raindrops rippling in the puddles.
Then, just like that, it was over.
Everyone set off again in their cars.
And all that was left was the quiet.
I said to my brother, if you're going out, stay in the garden.
And that smell.
Stay where I can see you.
What's it called?
But I want to go down to the fort, he said.
That earthy, musty smell you get when it rains.
I want to go down to the fort.
I got the call through at approximately 16:20.
Down at the end of the garden is a fence, and beyond that is the woods. He has a fort down there that we built last year.
Sorry.
Just a short walk away in the woods.
I don't
Near the tree.
feel...
Near the big old tree.
I'll be fine. Sorry.
He likes to go down to the fort and pretend he's a pirate or a medieval knight.
When I got the call through,
Or a spy.
I couldn't help but think,
He has a very vivid imagination.
it's hard to admit really,
Shouts and talks to himself a lot.
but I guess for the sake of,
He's just a kid.
I
I forget that sometimes.
transparency,
That he's only a little kid.
I was scared.
So Dad's car was in the drive when I got in, so I called out for him.
I transferred here because it was quieter.
No answer.
Supposed to be anyway.
His coat and shoes weren't there, which meant he'd popped out.
That's why I moved.
He wore his best shoes for the interview.
Where I was
His dark red brogues.
wasn't good for me.
I polished them for him. Good luck, Dad, I said. We'll smash it. Dad loves the rain.
Believe me or Mum would go down with my brother.
Wherever he is when it rains,
Down to the fort.
he has to stop. Just to watch. To listen. He always says it's the noise. He says the white noise.
He has a bell down at this fort, my brother.
He says the noise helps him stop thinking about everything,
Mum bought it for him.
which is probably a good thing.
She came home one day with this big cowbell, and my brother says, can I have it from a den? Of course you can.
Just me in the house then, waiting for Dad, so I took the opportunity to hide his cake. In the caterpillar. Because in my opinion, there is no other type of birthday cake. I find a cupboard he'll never go in, one of the bottom cabinets. Put it behind the dusty cocktail mixer that's never been used, and wait for him to come home.
Nobody knows how they'll react in certain situations, do they?
I say, I'm not coming out with you.
They think they do.
Because it's muddy.
They say stuff like,
and I can't be asked.
Oh, I'd punch the guy, or...
But you go.
I know exactly what's in a crisis me.
I say, you go down to the fort.
But nobody really knows.
Go without me.
Not until it happens.
You'll be fine.
I put the shopping away.
And if you need me...
Changed out of my wet clothes.
Ring the bell.
Wait for Dad.
Just ring the bell.
I had to leave the city because it was just too much. It's too busy. Too many people. I grew up in a place similar to here as well, so it's almost, but not quite, like being home. It was only my second week properly on the job when me and my colleague were called to a house. It was a domestic incident, and when we get there, the door is open, so we knock and walk in. The reality of seeing a body is quite different from hearing about it or seeing a picture or something. We got inside and my colleague goes upstairs and I go into the living room and then into the kitchen, which is where I found the body. It started with a tightness in my chest, knots in my throat. I could feel everything narrowing, my breathing, my vision, and this tingling rising up from my fingers, up to my arms, across my whole body until everything was buzzing. I just stood there, staring, struggling to breathe, feeling lighter and lighter, pulling in these shallow gasps of air. Work wasn't great after. People made fun, and they said I had to wait 16 weeks if I wanted to see someone or talk about it, which probably would have been a good idea, to talk about it. Not long after that, I asked to be moved and ended up here. It's nice here. Weather's a bit shit, but I can part with that. I suppose I'm telling you all of this to try to explain what I was going through.
Dad's still not home yet, so I send him a text asking what he wants me to make for tea.
The way I reacted?
He doesn't text back.
When?
I put the kettle on.
You know.
Make a brew.
Yeah.
Then I put some washing on. Dad's dressing down, which smelt. Tidied his room up a bit. All the time hoping that he got this job because he really needs it. And looking forward to the smile on his face in a few days when he sees the birthday cake and candles. I'm nearly done in his room.
I was in the kitchen.
When I spot through his window,
I heard it.
That he's left the shed door open again.
Clanging.
Don't want anything to get nicked, so I go out to shut it.
Clang, clang, clang.
And I hear that boy from next door.
Ringing the bell.
Playing in the woods.
Put my shoes on. Down the garden, over the fence, towards the clanging. I suppose looking back and thinking about it, I find it weird that I didn't choose to run, because really, if you heard the way it was ringing, it would definitely have seemed to you like something was wrong. But for some reason I walked, cursing at the mud, climbed the fence into the woods. The fort was only a short walk in. When I get there, he sees me and runs over. He's crying and mumbling something that I can't hear because he's hugging me so hard that it's muffled in my clothes. Then he points at this tree further into the woods. The big old tree. And I see what he's pointing at. I take him back to the house and call the police.
From the window, I see the older lad from next door running back with his brother.
I pull up at the address.
The little boy was crying.
The older brother was waiting for me on the street.
I go to shut the shed.
He walked me through the house.
Put the padlock on.
Down to the end of his garden.
When I see the older boy and this policeman.
Over the fence.
Almost running.
Into the woods.
Down towards the tree.
The tree is old. It was here long before this place had a name, long before anyone ever called it home. The kind of tree you expect there to be stories about, but there are none. It's different from everything else in the wood. Almost alien. The thick, knotted trunk twists and bends.
I felt something then.
Branches burst and fold back in on itself.
That call.
Out for anything it can.
An impulse.
Pulls it down into its trunk.
Saying move.
Into its roots.
Saying go.
Round.
As we walk further into the wood.
There is a feeling.
My fear.
Beneath its canopy.
Took root.
A presence.
Gripping down.
Beneath the branches.
Growing deep.
Under the broad leaves.
My breath.
In the middle of summer.
Tightened.
You can feel a chill.
Then we arrived at the tree. The body was hanging about 5 feet from the ground. The rope had been tied to a branch high up.
It looked like his neck had broken. It was leaning to one side. Eyes were bulging.
His tongue was pushing out from between his teeth.
I didn't recognize him.
His jaw clenched.
Not at first.
Everything was still.
We both stood.
Quiet.
Silent.
Frozen.
Staring.
Then I feel
a breeze.
Tingling.
Swaying him slightly.
My tie?
Raindrops.
The knot.
Falling from the canopy.
It feels too tight.
Just a few at first.
I can't.
Then more.
Even.
Like tears.
Speak.
He looked smart.
Then.
In a suit.
Before I could.
A suit, the grey of the sky.
I hear.
Darker in patches.
Movement.
And his shoes.
Behind us.
Wearing a pair of dark red brogues.
I wish I'd seen her coming.
I can remember every detail. Everything. I wish I couldn't. I know sometimes when people go through traumatic events, they say that your brain stops you from committing it to memory, to save you from repeating it. To save you from having to go over every detail, over.
The screaming.
And over.
Crying.
And over again. The rope. His hair. His eyes. The colour of his skin. The same colour of the sky. His shoes.
I tried to get her away.
Good luck, Dad.
We both did.
You'll smash it.
I haven't seen her much since then.
There was a funeral.
She stays inside.
Last week, I think.
Mum made me take down the fort.
And I have thought.
I burned the wood from it. Fell in the dirt.
About seeing someone.
Every time it rains now.
To talk about it.
My brother stays inside.
I'm finding it difficult when I'm talking about Dad. Moving the tense from now to then. He is a good dad too. He was a good dad. He wasn't one for sharing. I'd ask, but he'd shrug it off. Don't be daft, he'd say. But it was in there, something. It started small, acorn-like, took root and grew. He didn't get the job. He'd driven around, then came home. Then he went to the shed, took a length of rope. Then he climbed the fence into the woods just before it rained. Then he picked this tree, this big old tree, tied a knot around a big old branch, then put the noose around his neck. I can see him up there. I can see him tie the knots, see him shift along the branch, see him ready to fall. Then it starts raining. He pauses then, sitting on the branch, just to stop, to listen. I can see him smile, holding out his hand, feeling, listening to that sound it makes, that white noise, smelling that earthy, musty smell you get when it rains. Then the rain eases off a bit. A piece of blue breaks out of the grey. Sunlight. And with the last of the rain, he falls.